Of tackle fundamentals. This is something that needs to be communicated to all players at all age levels. The specific objective is to provide a definition of the 5 fundamentals of tackle progression and then integrate these definitions into techniques taught at practice. This approach allows coaches and players to understand that a proper tackle is the result of understanding the progression and terminology. It is also important that you understand the context in which this teaching takes place. From a mental perspective, the idea is to make players feel at ease when making contact. You can do this by increasing your players' understanding of how their legs, arms, and hips work together to keep their head from initiating contact when they attempt to tackle. From a physical perspective, understanding and practicing the progression will lead to increased strength and endurance in the body's core muscle groups. With numerous repetitions, your players will develop the muscle memory to tackle correctly each time. This standardized approach towards tackle training has proven over time to speed up learning, build player confidence, improve tackling efficiency, and maximize safety. Now let's turn to the 5 fundamentals and appropriate terminology. First is the breakdown position. Then it's a buzz, hit position, rip, and shoot. For the breakdown position, have your knees bent, your feet shoulder width apart, your upper body in a 45-degree forward lean, your chin up and over the toes, and your weight on the balls of your feet. It's imperative that you maintain this breakdown position from the snap of the football until the ref's whistle at the end of the play. While closing on the ball carrier, you must keep your eyes below the runner's face mask to maintain a low pad level. And be sure to adjust your breakdown position to keep your leverage advantage as the ball carrier fakes, dips, drops his shoulder, or moves in any other way. Buzz. Use quick choppy steps to bring the body under control while continuing to gain ground forward. Used once the defender is within the 3-yard striking distance of the ball carrier. They buzz their feet while spreading their feet shoulder width apart, sinking their hips, and keeping your waist at a 45-degree angle. Keep your chin up, head and shoulders square and not turned to one side. Your head and shoulders must stay square on all angle tackles as well. For the hit position, after closing within 1 yard of the ball carrier, take a short downhill power step into an imaginary hole. You must have a deep bend in both knees. Your eyes should be belt buckle high, your head and shoulders square, your chin and eyes up, your hands pulled back just beyond the hips, your front foot on the outside edge of your chin, and your back foot directly under the hip. Your waist must maintain its original 45-degree forward lean, bending at the knees. For the rip, you must forcefully swing both arms in an uppercut motion and grab the back of the ball carrier's jersey at the top of his numbers. When grabbing, you should have your knuckles up and your elbows down, squeezing your elbows tight to the ball carrier's side. For the shoot, forcefully explode your hips open and upward. While ripping your arms, you must simultaneously snap your hips open and upward towards the ball carrier's numbers, forcing your head to move up and away from the oncoming runner. To finish, lift the ball carrier off of the ground while continuing to drive your legs. In this segment,
Wellballs Put Pride Aside for Player Safety Education Series. By reviewing and sharing these safety practices, you can help educate and protect players at all levels of the game.
In this segment, we're going to look at the technique of the breakdown position. The objective is to teach this technique in a way that emphasizes its importance as a foundational starting point for all football movements and drills. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is the breakdown position. It's a fundamental position that all defensive players need to be in. We're going to start off by putting our feet just slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Okay, and that's going to be given by the feet command. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about wings. We use the word wings to describe putting the hands behind the back. So guys, go ahead and give us the wings here. We're going to reach back as far as we can. We're going to keep our palms up, and we're going to go ahead and try to pinch our shoulder blades together in order to spread the chest. The next command we're going to give is the sink command. At this time, we're going to bend our knees and our waist, trying to keep our upper torso at a 45 degree. So guys, go ahead and sink. Bend the knees. Keep reaching back as far as we can. Right now, we should have our upper body at a 45-degree angle. Our knees are slightly bent. Then the next command we're going to give is the arms command. When I say arms, they're going to bring their arms forward to finish off the position. Arms. Okay? Good job, guys. We'll go ahead and stand up, relax, and let's put it all together at one time. Here we go. Feet, wings, sink, arms. They should be in a good balanced body position. Again, this is how we're going to begin every drill of everything that we do. The terms we'll be using include feet, wings, sink, and arms. Let's take a look at each of these words as they relate to teaching the breakdown position. Feet means that the players need to spread their feet shoulder width apart. Wings means that the players should raise their arms behind their back as high as possible, with their palms up while simultaneously keeping their upper torso straight. When I use the word sink, it means that players need to keep their arms raised behind their backs and slowly bend their knees while sinking their hips and creating an inward curve of the spine that forces the head up. Players should stop sinking once their waist is at 45 degrees and their chin is up and over their toes. Arms means that the players should place their elbows at their side with their hands just above their knees, making sure to keep their chest spread and shoulder blades pinched to ensure an inward curve of the spine.
In this segment, we're going to look at the hit position, one of the fundamental body positions to make a safe and proper tackle.
The specific objective is to teach the hit position as a correct body posture for the moment of impact. Now let's take a look at the teaching sequence.
This is the body position that we want the defender to be in at the moment before we make contact with the ball carrier. We're going to start off like we do any drill in a breakdown position. So guys, go ahead and get in a breakdown position for me. Okay? On the command, we're going to go ahead and we're going to step forward. Now, the tackler wants to step forward as if he's stepping downhill in an imaginary hole. What we want to do is make sure that our chin is over the top of our front toe and our tail end is over our heel. Okay? So guys, we're going to go right foot first here. And when I give the command, we're going to go 3 times with the right foot. Okay? Ready. Hit. Reset it. Hit. Reset it. Ready, hit, reset. Stand up, relax.
Your players must start in a perfect breakdown position. Then he should take a short downhill power step into an imaginary hole directly at the center of the ball carrier with his front foot aligned with the outside edge of his chin. Your player's back foot should be directly under his hip with a deep bend in both knees. His eyes should be belt buckle high and his upper body should maintain its original 45-degree forward lean. The head and shoulders are square, the chin and eyes are up, and the hands are pulled back just beyond the hips.
In this segment, we're going to look at the buzz to hit drill, one of the fundamental steps in making a safe and proper tackle.
The specific objective is to teach each player the proper technique to get in the hit position from the buzz movement.
Okay, the next drill we're going to talk about is the buzz to hit drill. This allows us to get in the proper body position from the tackler to the ball carrier in the ground that we cover. We're going to do this by coming at a slow, controlled rate initially in this drill, but we want to talk about eye level. We want to make sure that the tacklers are creeping up to these cones with a low eye level. That will enable us to change direction depending on what the ball carrier does. As the tackler approaches the cones, he's going to widen his feet and work on buzzing them, getting them up and down into the ground as quick as he can, and he's going to finish the drill by getting in the good proper hit position. Okay? We're going to execute this first by doing the right foot on the hip position, guys. Here we go. Again, good breakdown position to start off the drill. At my command, you're going to go ahead and you're going to approach the cones in a good creeping position. Ready, go. Buzz, stick it. Good. Good job.
The tackler should start in a breakdown position between the 2 cones. On the coach's command, the tackler should begin walking, jogging, or sprinting, depending on his age and skill level, to a second set of cones 5 to 10 yards away. At the second cone, the tackler should begin to buzz his feet, taking short, choppy steps over the cones or bag, while maintaining the breakdown position. The tackler's head and eyes should be up and his forward movement is controlled while he focuses on rapid continuous ground contacts. As the tackler nears the single cone, he should take a short downhill power step into an imaginary hole directly at the center of an imaginary ball carrier, getting into the perfect hit position. At this point, his front foot should be aligned with the outside edge of his chin. His back foot should be directly under his hip with a deep bend in both knees. His eyes should be belt buckle high, and his upper body should maintain its original 45-degree forward lean. The tackler's head and shoulders should be square, his chin and eyes should be up, and his hands should be pulled back just beyond his hips. The tackler should hold this position while the coach checks his form and then releases him.
Breakdown. Hip. Creep, creep, creep. Buzz and stick it. In this segment, we're going to look at the air buddy drill to teach the shoot fundamental, which is one of the critical steps in making a safe, proper tackle.
The objective of the air buddy is to teach the fundamental of shooting the hips and increasing each player's understanding of how their hips and arms work together to keep their head from initiating contact when attempting a tackle.
This is going to teach us as tacklers to explode our hips upward and open at the same time, giving us the most force when we make contact with the running back. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with all the players on their knees at the gate. Now, we want to make sure that we're on the tops of our shoes. We want to extend our toes all the way out so we don't have our toes curled up. This will keep us from using our feet in this action, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, the command we're going to give, is we're going to give the wings command, okay? Wings. Sink. Hit. We're going to explode off of our knees, and we're going to open up our hip angle as quickly as we can to force our bodies up and forward into the air, landing safely on the pads below, okay? Again, guys, here we go. Wings. Sink. Hit. Go. We want to try to almost jump off of our knees, up and forward at the same time.
Start players on their knees in front of a step-over bag, keeping the upper torso straight. From this starting point, the players get into a wings position, in which they raise their arms behind their back as high as they can, palms up, while keeping their upper torso straight. Then the players get into a sink position, in which they'll keep their hands raised and lean forward until their waist is at a 45-degree angle, and their chin and eyes are up slightly ahead of their knees. Keeping their arms raised forces an inward curve of the spine and forces the head and eyes up. To get into the hit position, the player snaps open and then explodes his hips with all of his might, keeping his eyes up and open. This movement creates an inward curve of the spine and forces the head up and away from the oncoming ball carrier. Finally, the players will yell out the number of fingers a coach holds up as he explodes his hips, emphasizing that the head and eyes are up and open.
Wings. Sink. Hit. In this segment, we're going to teach the rip tackle, a drill that teaches the rip technique.
The objective is to teach every player the tackle fundamental of ripping their arms in the tackle, which is like a boxer throwing double uppercuts. It is also important to understand the context of this drill. By placing the bags in a horizontal position, we can force the defender to come from underneath the bag with proper ripping arm motion instead of wrapping around.
In this drill, we're going to incorporate some of our previous drills, the hit position, the breakdown position, and then we're going to add the element of the rip, okay? In this drill, we're going to start off, we're going to have two guys holding a pad horizontally, okay, about waist level, just above waist level of the tackler. On my command, the young men are going to get down into a good breakdown position, and then we're going to perform a hit step. We're going to step into an imaginary hole and get down into a good hit position. On my command now, the tacklers are going to take both of their hands and they're going to rip. They're going to aggressively rip and snap their hands and their hips at the same time and come up underneath the pad, and they're going to finish off the drill. And that's important. We finish off the drill with good 4 hard steps at the end of the drill. Okay? So let's go ahead and work on this. Let's get in a good breakdown position. Let's go right foot first. Okay, we're going to freeze the hit step, and then I'm going to give the command. Here we go. Hit, rip. Good. Okay, now we're going to put it all together. Okay, we're going to put it all together. We're going to get in a breakdown position. We're going to step through with our right foot. When I say hit, we're going to hit and rip at the same time, carrying it through 4 yards. Here we go. Breakdown position. Ready, hit. Good.
The tackler should line up in a perfect hip position by stepping in an imaginary hole with his eyes belt buckle high, deep bend in both knees, his back foot under his hips, his front foot on the edge of his chin, and his hands slightly behind his hips. A coach or teammate will hold a step-over bag horizontally in front of the tackler. On the coach's command, the tackler forcefully snaps his hips open and upward while ripping his arms from under the bag. The tackler takes the bag with double uppercuts, using the rip technique with his knuckles up and elbows down, and drives the bag 5 yards back while squeezing his elbows tight.
Breakdown position. Ready, hit. Good.